REED-BBS, BBS, Black Bert Sugar, Bachelor's in Boxing Studies, Televisión, Fred Sanford of the Fistic Arts. Happy Veterans Day to you out there, to any of you who served or has family that served. Me, myself, grandfathers on both sides of my family. I have aunts who served as well. Cousins all up and down, each and every branch of the military. Just want to say I'm thankful for what y'all do, making it possible for your boy to put out videos like this. With this video, I want to speak on boxers who were in the military. We're gonna draw it all together in a nice little bow. But before I do that, I want to encourage you to subscribe, love tap, and or bitch slap that like button for your boy. Please comment. I'll respond to any and all comments. And remember, sharing is caring. Jamel Semper Fi Herring. He's, of course, the WBO 130-pound champion, 2012 U.S. Olympian. Of course, based on the nickname Semper Fi, he's a Marine. My man served 2 tours of duty in Iraq. And as luck would have it, he won his title on Memorial Day of this year. And then he got to defend it last night, which is, of course, Veterans Day weekend. That was a good touch, making his first successful defense against Lamont Roach. I really love how ESPN, they rally behind Jamel Herring. They have him on for interviews. They have Marines showing up and showing out, cheering him on at his fights. And for this particular fight, they even had my man enter the ring. Part of his ring walk was like a Humvee, little Hummer, military-styled Jeep Hummer-looking thing. It was pretty cool, man. It was pretty cool. And the Marines, of course, showed up and showed out, like I said, as always. Joe Louis, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world from 1937 to 1949. He served in the Army as champion during World War II. He did 96 exhibitions in front of more than 2 million soldiers. Now, Lewis, he was a man of few words. He wasn't necessarily renowned for being outspoken on matters of race and whatnot. But Joe Louis was a huge advocate for black soldiers and their treatment. He wasn't about that BS. So if some dudes tried to flex, because this is Joe Louis, world heavyweight champion, trying to flex some military authority, Joe Louis would, in his quiet, calm way, let them know he wasn't about that bullshit. It wasn't going down like that. Jack Dempsey, undisputed heavyweight champion from 1919 to 1926. Now, after his days as a fighter, he joined the Coast Guard during World War II. He was even part of an invasion of Okinawa. Ken Norton Sr., son played football, is now a coach. Ken Norton Sr. is who I'm speaking of. He briefly held the WBC heavyweight title in 1978. He joined the Marines and learned to box in the 60s, though. That's where he learned how to box. Rocky Marciano, undefeated heavyweight champion of the world from 1952 to 1956. Marciano was drafted into the Army in 1943, where he discovered boxing. Wasn't fucking with it at all. 1943, military knocks on his door, they draft him, he discovers boxing. Post-military, Marciano, he had a tryout with the Chicago Cubs. He had aspirations of being a catcher, but that didn't work out, and of course the rest is boxing history. Leon Spinks, 1976 gold medalist and undisputed heavyweight champion for about 7 months in 1978. He dropped out of school in the 10th grade. Then he joined the Marines a couple years later, where his boxing career took off. Sugar Ray Robinson, arguably the greatest fighter of all times. He was undisputed welterweight champion and undisputed middleweight champion. Not at the same time, but he held both of those titles and was dangerously close to being light heavyweight champion. But I digress. He did 15 months in the military, right by Joe Louis's side. They were in it together. Robinson was, of course, more outspoken, and he flat out refused to do any exhibitions that didn't have black soldiers attending. Robinson would even say, no, you're not going to just have them all sit in the back either. You're going to have some of them sitting where they can get a good view of what we're doing. He was outspoken about that. Others involved, Richard Steele, the famous boxing referee. He was on the same Marine boxing team with Ken Norton. And Roy Jones Sr. Of course, you see Junior prominently displayed behind me. Well, his daddy was a Vietnam War vet. I'm not 100% sure on what branch of the military, but he is a Vietnam War vet. So yeah, man, again, happy Veterans Day. Want to shout out all of you that served or has family that did. And low-key, Veterans Day is also my mama's birthday. I love you, mama. REED-BBS, BBS, Black Bert Sugar, Bachelor's in Boxing Studies, Televisión, Fred Sanford of the Fistic Arts. When all is said and done, there's nothing left to say or do.